Hey there, I am Allison Eddings, a CPA in private practice working on tax issues with my clients, and this week's video is on where is my income tax refund. It's the end of June, and a lot of you guys are still waiting for your refund, or you've waited a long time and you want to know why. Everybody's been affected by COVID and the shutdowns. I was really surprised to be on the phone with an agent before IRS was shut down, and I was speaking with an agent because typically I would call once a week. I have not been calling once a week because there's just nobody answering. Last check, they were answering 33% of the incoming calls, but before they were shut down, I was on the phone with an agent who said, no, we won't get shut down. We're not client facing. We are not, you know, we're individual. We can get here easily. And then the next day they were shut down. And like many of you guys who work in an office, they didn't go back. They went home and were told, don't come back. And if you can imagine having such proprietary data that it's not easy to work from home. You might not even want them to work from home. The few times I have gotten through to agents during pandemic, I've heard crying babies in the background, barking dogs in the background. So it hit that organization just as hard as it hit the rest of it. However, because IRS is not for profit, because IRS is not nobody really wants to spend money on IRS infrastructure. They've really struggled. Not that I have a huge amount of sympathy, but when we're asking an organization to do a lot on a shoestring, we've got to kind of expect that we're not going to get great results. So they're already operating on a shoestring. They're already, have insignificant human resources, internal resources, yet they've got to keep everything safe and secure, and then they're sent home. And so very many of them were not able to work. Many are back to work, still working remotely. I think I've said in other videos that I was told at a training, and I never do CPE during tax season, but this year we had to because things changed just like retroactively in the middle of a season. It was a mess, and 2021 is going to be even worse from what we're seeing. But let's imagine you get sent home from work with no resources and are told, okay, now see if you can do your job. You may be rural and not have access to great internet. You may just not even have somebody to watch your tiny person who constantly wants to be in your lap, or like my tiny person used to scream at me whenever I would open the laptop. True story. So we got her a tiny little pretend laptop, and she just throw it at me. But anyway, so already they were just about, IRS was just about done digging out from their backlog with the shutdown that you may have remember happened, what is that, 3 years ago now? And they were shut down for quite a while at the beginning of tax season. They had just about dug out from that, and now they have this huge backlog of paperwork. It's going to take them years to get out from under it. But even if that was all, that would be overwhelming, and that would be reason enough for your refund to be taking forever. But add to that, they were required to implement not one stimulus check, not two stimulus checks, but 3 stimulus checks. So they've had to administrate that, getting cash or debit cards or other things to you, setting up back office systems to reconcile it. Returns are having to be manually checked. So if you filed your tax return and you got your stimmy money wrong on your return, there is a human being that has to actually go back and check it and go, he said it was $600 and it was actually $1,200, or he said $1,200 and it was actually $600, and physically fix that. Human beings are having to do that, not computers, on every single one. For how many millions of taxpayers do we have? Mind-boggling that they're doing that manually, but they're doing that manually. And On top of that, then the Biden administration said, guess what? We want you to send out checks to every family with a kid. Make it happen. And IRS told them, we can't do that. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the capacity. But you know what it's like at work when you're told to do something and you say, I don't have the capacity. Something else gets cut short. So there are other things that you can't do because your boss comes in and says, that'd be great if you just get me the TPS reports. Yeah. So the reason why many of you have had significantly delayed refunds is literally just a bandwidth issue. IRS does not have the time. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the computer, the technology. It's just they're not even back to 100% capacity yet. So that is why it's taking longer. And add to that, well, I won't even go there. We'll just say, long story short, there were a lot of 2019 returns because they were filed in 2020 during pandemic that were not accepted. Were not, they're still being processed. It's not like they're being rejected. It's just, if you think of the IRS infrastructure as silos, it's not, it's not PeopleSoft land where everything's integrated. There's different silos for everything, and there's no crossing of data. The integration is not what we would expect to see in a for-profit organization. So that causes problems too. When you've got a 19 return that has not been technically accepted or or there's steps in the process that have not happened, and yet we're sending in 2020 data that is dependent on that 2019. So that is why we're seeing a lot of delays with refunds. The upside is, hopefully in about 15 days you'll start getting those advanced child tax credit payments if that's what you have opted for. If you want to opt out for that, maybe if you want to think about whether or not you want to opt out for that. There was a video that I released, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, real homemade looking because I did it in my car, unfortunately. So you might want to take a look at that on whether or not you should opt out of that advanced child tax credit. There's links in that video too for making that opt out. And I think that's it for today. But if you have questions for me, be sure to put them in the comments. Please like and subscribe if these videos are helpful, or if you think they'd be helpful for other people. Because even if they're not tremendously helpful for you, but you think they'd be tremendously helpful for others, every like and subscribe and share increases my visibility. So I would immensely appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. So thank you so much and have a great day.